So welcome everybody. Lovely to see so many of you here tonight. So yeah, we've been I'm just going to do a little bit of a talk about, because we're all yogis, most of us will be yoga teachers, that we're in a very different energy frequency field at the moment. So if you're finding that there's a lot of ups and downs, then it's okay. Just keep practice going, keep yourself grounded, do some nice stabilizing breath work. The planet's moving through a new part of the cosmos, and there's a lot of high frequency energy which is around. So it's all good. It's actually helping the human race to rise up a little bit in their level of consciousness. But we need to, work with it rather than against it. So I thought I'd start tonight by setting an intention, because when we have this type of energy coming in, intentions are very powerful. So I'm going to invite you all to make your own intentions as well for the practice, but I will set my intention and, just feel into your heart as to what you would like to do. So don't do it from head, which is ego, where all the senses are. Do it from heart. So I'm just going to set an intention to work with light to heal myself, so that my cup can overflow and help out others to receive healing energy as well. So just take a moment to find what feels right for you tonight to make an intention. And then I want you to start to bring your attention to the top of the head, about 20 centimeters, so about a ruler's length above the top of the head. So, we're all familiar, all yogis, you'll have studied the koshas and the energy body. So our higher self is about a lower arm's width above the top of the head. So I want you to just connect with that part of you. So we know that we're not just this is our vehicle. Some people call it the meat suit, which I think is a great explanation of what this is. But we're connecting to that energy within us, that really powerful, sentient, pranic energy within us. And let your attention move to the top of above the top of the head. So you're connecting with your higher self, and just repeat that intention to allow the energy to move in and through, clearing things out of the system. And that energy is prana, chi, divine, whatever you want to call it. And that's what we really, truly are. And then start to become aware of the heart space. And imagine that you're pulling this energy from the top of the head like a column of light, and it comes all the way down through the head, through the throat chakra into the heart, until the heart fills. It's like a pool, and then that pool starts to overflow and it pours down the arms, and then it flows down into the torso and the solar plexus, and then it just keeps flowing. It comes down into the bowl of the pelvis and eventually overflows and comes down into the legs. So the whole body is filled with this beautiful iridescent light, set with an intention for you to heal. So some of you may be in that field, and as yoga teachers, I suppose we could class ourselves as healers of some sort. And the thing is that we can only ever heal ourselves. We can't heal other people. We can only share our modality. And we'll have students that start to resonate with us, so our modality will work for them as well, and we'll sort of orbit around each other. And that's how it works. So nobody else can heal you, only you can heal yourself. So just feel that energy coming into you. And I want to start to intensify the breath, but keep that focus of the column of light. So as you inhale, really nice deep breath in, pull it in through the top of the head. Feel it flowing downwards. And when you're ready to exhale, go out through the mouth and imagine it coming down and out. So it flows out through the extremities, down and out through the legs into the feet. And just keep going with that. So you start to feel the flow of the breath like a beautiful river of light coming through the body. Start to be aware of the subtle flows of energy moving through you. And just moving now into a slower breath. I'm going to work with some of the salongs tonight in order to clear the energy field. So we're going to work with the head now. So we're going to work with our attention on the third eye and the crown. This is the upward moving lung. It's a double inhale. Some of you will have done this with me before. It's a bit like a kriya, so there's lots of things going on at once. So we'll build it up slowly. So first of all, we'll do the movement. So it's a double inhale. Hold the breath in and then circle the head. 5 times one way. 5 times the other way. Holding the breath in. And then exhale. And then breathe in. So the physical mechanism of the exhale is the dantian, so it's just below the navel. And you do a slow exhale to start with, and then at the very end you just push it out as if you're opening the top of the head and releasing trapped energy. So again, let's focus on the third eye and the crown. Start to bring your attention to it. So I'm going to add in some focus of the sensation in the head. So I want you to try and do this without ego, so that it can be quite difficult because we're always analysing everything. So although we're focusing on the top of the head, the third eye and the crown, I want you to feel from the heart. So if it helps, bring a hand to the heart space and just notice, be aware of any heaviness in those areas, third eye and crown. Maybe it's not a heaviness that you notice, maybe there's a darkness that you can't quite reach into. Take a double inhale. Hold the breath, perform the movements. Slowly bring that breath in. And as you bring it in, really be aware of the energy that's coming down through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, just let that energy push outwards, out and down. So you're clearing the systems in the body on a cellular level as well as on an energetic level. Let's do that again. So we're feeling into the head from the heart. Take a double inhale. Hold. Inhaling again, feel the opening at the top of the head, pull that energy in. Let it flow down and out, down and out. Lovely. Now before we do the third one, keeping your eyes closed, just notice if there's any pain in the body. We're going to let the light filter down through the pain. So sometimes the joints hold this energy blockage and emotions, and we're allowing our mental focus and our imagination, so our creative energy, to pour that light through the system. Okay, so we're clearing the top again, attention from the heart, double inhale, hold and turn the head. Now really pull that energy in, beautiful beam of light. Let it clear the head and the third eye, and as you exhale, let it pour down and out, down and out, down and out. So it's clearing the blockages that accumulate in the joints, and that might be shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, spine, pelvis. Just let it flow out. Now we'll do the same salon movement, but this is for the throat. So we bring our attention to the throat. Just become aware of the throat and be aware of speech and how we talk to ourselves, how we express ourselves outwards, or how we're unable to express ourselves outwards. Sometimes we swallow what we want to say because we feel we don't have a voice. Notice the inner negative speak that we have about ourselves and how that projects outwards towards others. It just acts like a mirror, and we might say things to people that it might be a little bit harsh or negative. So just notice that type of energy, and it is just energy. We're just going to release that. So focus on the throat, take a double inhale. Pull that lovely light in. Let it flow down. Now, if you've got a lot of intense energy around the jaw or the throat, open the mouth wide. Stick the tongue out, do a bit of a lion's roar. Bit of a Carly face. Okay, let's do that again. So focus on the throat. So remember, you don't even have to think about speech, to be honest with you. You just bring your attention to the throat and be aware of how it feels there. Is it heavy? Is it tight? Is it sticky? Is it difficult to feel into it? Is it almost like a dark hole? Just notice it. Double inhale. Hold and form the movements. Again, notice, so you might even get energy in the ears, so our ability to listen sometimes is linked into the throat as well. So again, maybe just massage the jawline from the back of the ear and along. Just noticing this, we are just energy. Even our physical body is just energy, it's just dense energy. And our real self is the energy body. So just flicking off if you need to. Let's do one more at the throat. Focus on the throat, but also focus here at the back of the neck. So at the back of the neck, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, this is a primal instinct, but sometimes when you're genuinely really fearful, we get a little bit of a oh at the back of the neck, like sometimes when you see a dog's hair come up. It's a bit like that. So we can focus here as well and release fear of being able to speak our truth, okay, which is quite a common thing in women. And also, you know, there may be many injuries around this area that goes back ancestrally and in past lives. So just be aware of any energy here that feels a bit trapped. Take a double inhale. Good. Breathe in again. Pull in that beautiful column of light. Let it come right down through the body. Anchor it in. Feel it flowing through you, down and out, down and out, down and out, through the extremities. Let it pour through the torso, cleaning through every single cell. Work with the jaw if it feels a little bit stuck. So the jaw can be really tight and it stops the energy coming into us. So just be aware of that. Lovely. Now just notice this area here around the collarbones and that area into the, notice if it feels a little bit tender just from those movements. I want you to tap it. Give it a good old tap. So just freeing up some trapped energy. Maybe give the back a bit of a slap. Lovely. So we're going to do the heart one now. So remember, this one is a double inhale. It's quite vigorous. We hold the breath in. We do 5 movements like this that come over the head like a lasso and push. Then the other way. So we're clearing the whole of this area, including the top of the head. And then we do this movement, which is the whole of the side of the body from the waist, which squeezes the energy of the heart space. If you imagine the torso is like an old-fashioned pressure cooker, we're going to put a lid on, fill it with lots and lots of energy, and then we're going to squeeze it so it forces out the trapped energy that no longer serves us. And that trapped energy is eons of patterns of behavior that some are just in this lifetime where we've been programmed through parenting, schooling, institutionalized, religion, all sorts of things. But there's also patterning that's ancestral, and it goes back all the way back. So we're going to squeeze it all, and we're just going to say to the universe, let's just get rid of what we don't need, put the data back in so it can be recycled. Are you ready? So be aware of the heart energy. And again, just feel that area. Sometimes it feels quite heavy, doesn't it? And there's a sense of a lack of, it's because we can't connect to our true nature. And again, we don't need to use words. Sometimes we have images that come up. It depends how you are, how your brain is wired, as to how you feel into this area. Maybe it's pictures, maybe it's words, maybe it's textures, whatever it is. And we're going to clear out what we find in there. So take a double inhale. Perform the movements with the breath held in. Breathe in, let that light come all the way down. Feel how it really expands the heart. Let the heart overflow, let it pour down through the arms, through the body, down and out, down and out. And that down and out is that sense of just letting go of that old data, letting go of the old programming, letting go of the old patterns that no longer serve us, just letting them go. We don't need to hold on to the story. We just need to let it go. Notice if you feel any strong energy in the spine. like running through the vertebral column. Or maybe it's moving across, maybe it's at the throat. Just really learn how to read the energy body. Just sitting with that inner landscape that's quite, it can be really energetic. It's almost like a fireworks display, but without the bangs. Let's connect to the heart again. Double inhale. Hold in that pressure. Squeeze it out and pull in the light. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Let it expand the heart space. It pours over. The cup's totally full. And you're going to let it pour all the way down through the arms, down through the torso, down through the legs. Just letting go, letting go. Remember to open the jaw if you feel like there's a buildup of energy around the mandible joint. Be aware of the energy at the back of the body. Just really paying attention, feeling into the physical, energetic systems. We're going to do this once more before we move into the Tonglen practice. Double inhale, heart focus. Imagine this column of light pouring into you. Just going through every single cell so you become very bright. Good, now keep the focus on the heart. Notice that this light that fills the body has a source, and it's right in the center of the heart space. It's tiny, like a mustard seed, but it's incredibly bright, and it fills the entire body. And once the entire body is full, it comes outwards into the energetic field. And once your cup is full, you're in a position to help others because you have extra. But you can't give from an empty cup. So just be aware of that light at the heart space, like a beautiful, tiny, distant star. Or I like to imagine my body is like a lighthouse, and that my heart is the light in the lighthouse, which it connects to other people, but it also draws me back to my true self. So be aware of that sense of self at the heart space, deep, deep within you. So go deep within yourself. Feel, locate that tiny, tiny point within you that is the source of this energy, this beautiful, divine spark. And we're going to use the breath. We're going to inhale. Imagine we're pulling in a dark energy. And as we exhale, we send out our light energy. And this darkness represents suffering, but it acts like a fuel into the heart space. And this is the original alchemy that they talk about. So we're not talking about turning base metals into gold. What we're really talking about is turning energy into love and just transforming our understanding of our true nature. So inhaling this energy, pull it towards this point of light, and know that this point of light can never be sullied by anything, because it's always existed and it will never cease to exist. And they talk about this in the Upanishads. Just be aware of how when we bring the suffering towards it, it just welcomes it and it just expands it and it turns it into love. So we can never be affected by suffering if we just give love to it. So just allow the breath to move in and out. Feel the heart open, receiving, giving. Lovely. Now let's work with our own suffering, or what we perceive to be our suffering, which is ultimately energy that's got trapped, whether that's physical or emotional or mental. So become aware of the sense of that personal suffering. And as you inhale, imagine it pulling in towards the heart space. So you're accumulating it, ready to be alchemized into healing light. And then as you exhale, pour that light back out into the system. And remember, as we pull it in, we are sometimes dialoguing with a story. See if you can let go of the story of the suffering and just see it as energy. And we're just allowing it to be transformed by the power at the heart space. And we all have this within us to transmute energy, stagnant energy, traumatic energy, and to send it out, releasing the data of that energy back out into the universe to be healed. So just stay focused on your own healing. So that we're doing more focus on this tonight. Building your own inner strength, your personal power. Notice any areas of the body that maybe resist you being able to see into it. If you imagine that your awareness is like a torchlight, a searchlight, seeking out areas that maybe feel a bit dark, a bit heavy, maybe a bit painful, whether that's emotional pain or physical pain. Let it seek it out, the awareness at the heart space, seek it out, and then breathe light into it. Pull the darkness or the pain in towards the heart, and then fill it with light on the exhale. So just a couple more breaths, really well focused on your own perception of suffering. So when we start to move towards others, what we need to bear in mind is that we are not separate. So if we're working on ourselves, we can also help with others. If we're working with others, we're also healing ourselves. Because we're interconnected, we're not separate. Our physical bodies are separate, our vehicles, but our true self is not separate. So if you imagine that your true self is that tiny little light, tiny little dot of light that's really expansive, like almost like a nuclear explosion. It's huge. And actually, when our energy frequencies are pulled to other people's energy frequencies, is because we're oscillating at a very similar frequency level, and it's like these bubbles come together, and we're able to help each other. So I want you to bring to mind a loved one, so somebody that you find it really easy to be with. And imagine that you're sitting with them. And you can see their suffering in all its forms, physical, emotional, mental. Notice how it shows itself within their body posture, how they hold themselves. Notice how it shows itself in their face, particularly the eyes. When you look into somebody's eyes, you can really see that there's often a depth of suffering that even they may be unaware of, that is multidimensional rather than just in the now. So be aware of that. And when you're ready, start to visualize this cloud of energy that's this suffering. It's heavy, it might be painful, it might be emotional, it might be spiritual. Just let it pour out, just visualizing it, using our creative self to imagine this. And then in your own time, breathe it to the heart space, your own heart space, using it as fuel to just expand love. So we're just working with love when we work with this practice. And when you exhale, send out light, that beautiful beam of light. Let it pour out from the heart like a lighthouse beacon, connecting you to them. And in this process of interconnection with each other, we heal. It's just a circular process. And in many ways, it's not even circular. It's more like a spiral that is, it just goes on forever, like the Mandelbrot set of images. Just there's no end to it. We're just allowing this energy to process, to release through that portal of the heart. And start to feel how your heart is really open and it is experiencing joy and love for this person even deeper. So your energy body is expanding. You are yourself healing through this connection with others. And just focus even harder. And remember, the focus is at the heart. So we're not allowing our ego to come into this, which is head area. Just allow the expression of the practice to come from the heart space. Feeling that connection to the loved one. Good, 2 more breaths. Just really wishing them well, that they may find their own modality of healing, which is unique to each and every one of us. Lovely. Now we're going to move on to somebody who you find it difficult to be with. Now this is a great practice. And this again could be a loved one, could be a colleague, Just take your time. You might have 2 or 3 people. Maybe you're at a point when actually you've got to a point where there isn't necessarily anybody that's particularly difficult. Maybe they're a little bit sticky, or they make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And notice that resistance in you, because the resistance that you feel when you connect to somebody you find it difficult to be with is ego. Because ultimately we're not this body and we're not this mind. We are this energy, this divine energy within us. So feel it at the heart space and connect to this person. And I want you to see them. Notice the behavior or the speech, whatever it is that you find difficult to be with. But notice it from a distance, so you're not involved with it. Because when we get involved with it, it's our ego. And just notice it, and notice it that this is just an expression of suffering. They might swear a lot, or they might be quite abrasive with their words. And it doesn't mean to say that we have to put up with that sort of behavior, but we don't need to get involved with it by reacting in a similar way. We can step back from it, and we can either choose to help, or we can choose to walk away. Either's fine. But we also accept that it's suffering. So when you're ready, breathe in this suffering. And as you exhale, send out that genuine, heartfelt wish that they will find a route into healing, so that it will be less perhaps aggressive or difficult to be with. And just keep working with this. So we're not doing it with any judgment towards this person. It must be quite difficult if you're an angry person to live with yourself being like that all the time. It can't be particularly pleasant. It's certainly not good for the heart or the liver. And just feeling that genuine wish that they'll be able to find their own way into a healing modality, whatever that is for them. And in the meantime, you're healing yourself, because you're not reacting from ego. You are being awake to the reality that we are not this body and we're neither this mind. We are something far greater. Be aware of the energy of the heart space, noticing it moving slightly, expanding. Maybe you're feeling it between the shoulder blades. Notice whether there's still some resistance, which will be based in fear. And that's what anger is, ultimately. All resistance is fear. Good, let's have 3 more really focused breaths, genuinely wishing this person well. And you might be at that point where you can make a decision about what's going to happen in this relationship from a place of honesty from the heart. Is it something that you're going to let go of? Is it something that you can interact with differently next time? Because if you change, it changes the energy. It stops it being perpetuated when we don't react. Lovely. Now we're going to move to somebody who is a familiar stranger. So this is somebody who you recognize. You may know the name, but you might not know them really to talk to, apart from just to say hello. Or it might be just somebody who you see walking past your house every day, or somebody who sits on the same train as you if you commute, or somebody who serves you at the local shop. So recognizing yourself in everybody you meet. And when I say self, I mean not Sarah, the meat suit, or the vehicle. I mean the self, the true self, that light. Everybody has it. It's just that it's clouded by layers and layers and layers of programming and patterning. So recognize this light in this stranger, and that this light is the same as you. And just take a moment to notice again how the suffering in the human body shows itself physically, emotionally, mentally. Notice the patterns on the faces. Just noticing it. noticing it without judgment. You know, people who perhaps are suffering has dropped into alcoholism or drug addiction. This is suffering, and their patterns of behavior have led them into this mechanism to try and free themselves from suffering. And obviously it doesn't help. But, you know, we're not here to judge them. We're here to just accept that we've all got different paths and we're all searching to find happiness. And when you're ready, breathing in the suffering and sending out that genuine wish for them to be well, to find a path to healing in their own way, in their own time, with their own stories. If it helps, breathe out through the mouth if you feel there's a lot of energy moving through your system, because these patterns can be old patterns within ourselves that we need to clear. So just let it clear. And remember, if we judge others, we're also judging ourselves, because we can't say that we are perfect. We're really not. Lovely. A few more breaths. Lovely, well done. So now I want to open it up to all of us. So there is 20 of us here tonight, nice round number. So I want you to imagine that we're all sitting in a circle. And that although we are physically in our meat suits, not next to each other, we are right next to each other in terms of our heart space. So with your attention on that light, breathe in, turn the palms up. Be aware of the top of the head, and although we're still focusing on the heart, I want you to pull the light in through the top of the head. And be aware of this circle, which is really bright lights facing each other all the way around. This beautiful light that's iridescent, shining out from each and every one of us, 20 of us. The hands are pouring out light, so we've got this lovely image of this beam of light centrally, light coming out through the hands, and then this beam of light pouring down through the top of the head, and we're all connecting with each other. And then if you feel comfortable and you wish to enter into a healing circle, just say that to yourself as an intention, that you wish to enter into a healing circle of light. And feel each other's presence. Be aware of energy in the palms of the hands, the top of the head, the heart space. And just allowing your own suffering to pour into the center of this circle. And as we all inhale, we're just going to breathe in the suffering and just start to clear it out. Releasing the patterns. We don't need to attach to them. We don't even need to know what they are. Just breathing in, breathing out, letting go, sending out love. We're still focusing in the heart, but allow that awareness to expand into the physical body and into the energetic body of yourself. And notice the flow of energy. It's like streams of energy pouring down and through and out, all interconnected, like a vast network of energy. Lovely. Now let's hold this space with each other and push out our awareness into the road in which we live, so it encompasses our neighbours, our community, the town, maybe it's a village, maybe we live in a city. Wherever it is that you are, just start, let this energy, this light pour outwards, so you feel really expansive. It's almost like the physical body's dissolved into this massive light, and we're expanding this light so it starts to encompass the whole of the planet. Start to wrap it around the planet, so we're just holding it. We're part of it. We encompass all beings, which includes planet Earth itself, which is sentient, and all life forms, water life forms, land life forms, the trees, the insects, birds, all humans, all animals. And just feeling that connection to something that is much more than the individual self. A connection to the whole, a sense of wholeness. Just a few more breaths. Lovely. Now we're going to bring our attention back into the individual self at the heart space, this tiny, tiny mustard seed point of light that's vast. And I want you to just start to visualize or imagine that there's maybe fragments of you that have got lost in time. And these fragments are like tiny little fireflies floating around, waiting for you to breathe them back in again so you can really feel more complete. So as you breathe in, start to pull in these fragments that have been lost in time and space. Pull them in from all directions. Let them come into the body. Hold them as if you're nursing a child that's loved and you're bringing back yourself into completeness. Feel the heart space overflowing as these parts of you pour in. The parts of you that you've lost that want to come back. Through all time and space. Now I want you to bring your hands to the heart space as if you're wrapping and holding this beautiful light that is you. And feel a sense of feeling complete and whole. A sense that the cup is full and it's now overflowing. And this cup is a brilliant light that is fluid, iridescent, and it is the light of love. Incredibly bright. And as we just focus on this light, let's just amplify it with the sound of Om. So we're just going to do the two-syllabled Om, so OM. And the Ah will come in naturally. So take a deep breath in. Focus at the heart. And just rest. Rest in the silence. Rest in the spaciousness and the stillness. Be aware of the presence that is observing the experience. Notice how this presence, this awareness, is observing the sensation of the physical body. It's also observing the emotional energy and the mental energy. It's just observing it. And this presence is our true self. Notice it observing sounds that it might be hearing through the body, but all the while observing it from the heart, so the ego isn't involved. Just observing what it is to be inhabiting the human body. And when you're ready, let the hands come back into Namaste. Let's inhale and sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, come down through the midline. Take a moment to acknowledge the divine light within you. Let the hands rest down. I want you to keep the eyes closed. So this was quite a powerful practice tonight. So I'm going to give you a practice to carefully protect the energy field so that when you move out of the practice, there's a protection level. So if you imagine your body is like a building and each of the chakra areas are like little windows. Don't need to worry about the base chakra, but the lower dantian, or this area here just below the navel, I want you to imagine that there's a shutter. So in my mind, it doesn't have to be like this for you. You can make them look any way you want them, but you know those shutters you get on the beautiful sort of Swiss cottages that they close and the little doors have got love hearts on, they're very thick wood. I'm just going to close that door there. I'm just going to close it, just so it gives a protection at the front of that chakra. And then go up to the one that's just above the navel, so the solar plexus, and shut that one. That wooden structure. The heart space always has to be slightly open, so we're just going to use a little curtain that's like almost like Muslim cloth, or a beautiful iridescent type net, not a net, but like a gossamer type covering. So it's just closed, it's gently protected, but we can see in and out, we can feel from the heart still, but we're protecting it. And we go up to the throat, and that's again a little wooden door there, or shutters, double shutters, little love hearts on. Close the throat carefully. Go up into the third eye, close that one. Lovely. Now imagine that you're sitting on the planet Earth, our mother, Gaia, and you're going to use her waters to pull them up around you. So as you inhale, imagine you're pulling up this beautiful blue covering that's going to come all the way around the body, front, side, back, absolutely everywhere, and creates a blue covering around you that protects you with the gentleness and the strength of earth, and that lovely fluidity of water. And then imagine you're going to reach up into the sky to the Father Sun and pull down that energy and bring a golden cloak around you that's more like metal. And if you were to reach your hand out of your energy field and knock on that covering, it would make a dinging sound, so it's quite strong. And that protects over the Mother Earth. And then finally, imagine covering that gold with mirrors. And then you get this really smooth mirror surface all the way around, which protects you, but we always act as mirrors for each other. And remember that when you meet somebody, that everyone can teach us something about ourselves. And namaste.